Hello, my love, and welcome back. Today, I want to share how I went from burnt out and very misaligned in my purpose driven business to getting things back on track to a place where I feel excited and it's passionate and it feels like what I had always wanted it to be. Because I know for my own process, there's been so many ups and downs along the way. And having worked with many other heart centered humans over the years who typically are very mission driven and they know they're here for something bigger, I know this can be a really big challenge for a lot of us. So I want to dive into part of my journey and like some of the things that have helped me and allowed me to break free into a place where now it feels like that sigh of relief of like, I just get to be here and be doing what I love and no longer fighting some of the struggles that had been there that I kind of created unconsciously. So whether you have been along for my journey for years or you're new here, I have been on like a roller coaster in terms of all these different times I thought I knew what my purpose was, and I went all in on a path and I started, importing paper products made out of elephant poo because I had just finished working with elephants and I thought, oh, this is my purpose and this is how I can do something bigger to help the environment and donate back and be fair trade and be involved in something. And then I thought, oh, I'm here to be a yoga teacher and inspire people through how I guide the classes and the way I like move and embody and share. So then I was off to India and I was studying my yoga teacher training. And then soon after that, it was no, I think I meant to do something bigger with helping people. And that's what inspired me to start my coaching business back in 2018 of I want to have the time freedom, the money freedom, the location freedom, and I want to feel like I'm impacting people every single day and sharing the parts of my process and my healing journey and empowering them to then create a life of purpose and meaning. So that's like the quick Coles notes of it. And once I started the coaching business, though, I got pulled into all the strategy and all the business things and all the ways that I thought I had to show up in order to have success. And if you've been in this place, again, whether you have your own like business and you're an entrepreneur, a coach, a healer, or even if you're working for someone else, but you feel like you've kind of got pulled into a box of, oh, I have to check these things off in order to succeed or get to the next level or get the recognition or make the bigger impact, right? We encounter a lot of conditions, and these conditions, as you may have noticed in your own life, typically come from our own subconscious programming. And this is why that inner healing work is so important, because I know for myself, when I look back to how things started in my coaching business, all of the boxes that I started trying to fit into around business, marketing, sales, coaching, building something, right? I was running on so much unconscious programming from what I had observed and learned in childhood. Two different sides of that was like seeing my dad build his own business and all the things that I absorbed just from hearing him or seeing or feeling the emotions and energies every day when he'd come home from work. And then also the side of my mom, who was a stay-at-home mom, and I loved that, but I could tell that she wasn't super happy. Like, she loved being with my brother and I, but I always looked at her thinking like, I just wished that she had something else that also filled her cup and felt purposeful so that she could feel so satisfied as a mom and also so satisfied as a woman. And I think I observed both of their identities in the ways that they did or didn't see themselves, and I took on so much of that. So when I started my business, I got pulled into a lot of like hustle, overworking, kind of lower masculine things that I saw from my dad. And I didn't think I was repeating the patterns, but I definitely was. And also the people pleasing and fitting in, and like, you've got to be normal. Like, I can't be different, I can't be weird, I can't be myself if I want to have success. So that like put me in a box very quickly. I felt very limited and very much dependent on what other people were telling me I should do. And I also had the identity piece from my mom, and because of what I observed from her, I had always grown up feeling like, I know I'm here for something really big and I want to help on a massive scale. And I want to be able to feel so fulfilled in who I am and what I'm doing, and also have a family and be able to spend tons of time with them and be super present and all the things with that. So that almost pushed me harder into the masculine, I think, because I wanted so badly to have that purpose as my identity, since I saw that my mom kind of didn't. So there were all these unconscious things playing out, and as you're listening, I invite you to reflect on what might be showing up for you as well. But long story short, with all of that, is that it just led to a place where I ended up feeling very burnt out and frustrated. And maybe a few years into things, I started looking at the business and the structure that I had and the ways I was showing up, and realizing that it wasn't actually what I wanted. It was what I had been told I should do, or it was stuff I saw other people having success with. And so I thought, I guess I should go do that. And it was never actually aligned to me. So bringing this back around now to how I shifted out of this, because I got to this point where I kind of lost sight of my why. And anyone who's watching or listening to this, anyone who's in my world, I know is like a very heart-centered human and has like something bigger driving them. And you can probably understand the feeling of when you start to lose that, how depleted you become. And at least for myself, that's what it felt like, where now I'm just going through the motions and hustling or forcing or doing, but I don't feel excited about it. I don't feel connected to the impact that I'm making. I don't feel supported by the systems and the things going on. And so I'm not really even as present and excited about client wins as I could be, because I'm so focused on how do I keep this running in such a misaligned way. And so it took a lot out of me, and it really caused me to hit this point of realizing like, I have to make a change, because this is not how things are meant to look moving forward, and I can't continue hitting my head against the wall over and over again in a path that I don't want to be on. So one of the biggest turning points for me with this was when, well, there's multiple, but one of the biggest ones was like obviously hitting that realization of, why am I doing this? Like, if it's not lighting me up, and I've built this business to have all these things, and I've kind of achieved, not all of them, but I've achieved a lot of them or some of them, but I'm still not feeling the greatest about it, and I feel more and more pulled out of my center and my true path. It was then from that point that I started doing the quantum healing hypnosis work, and specifically in regards to the greater mission and the ripple effect. So I have always been a very firm believer of the butterfly effect, and the fact that one person and their energetic shift or their alignment or something they do can be felt on such a large scale. Whether we think of it as like what the definition of the butterfly effect is, of like a butterfly flapping its wings in one side of the world, and the energetic ripple that created like whatever it was, a hurricane or a big storm on another side of the world. Or if we see it as like all these degrees of separation of the me supporting one person through my work and then them feeling better and how that ripples out to everyone they come in contact with. And then the touch points from those people, right? And suddenly it spreads like wildfire and the impact has been created. So for me, that was always the driving force, was that I don't feel like I can change the world by myself. And even though I always wanted to and dreamed about it, I know that I can't do it alone. And so I knew if I could help other women build their confidence and their mindset and align with their passions and their purpose and no longer be held back by old trauma, that like we could change the world together and have that huge ripple effect with all the different touch points. But I lost sight of all of that when I got so pulled into the misaligned setups. And I see this a lot with other clients and people I've worked with over the years too, because it's like the more you disconnect from your true self and from the way your higher self is guiding you, say you're getting like this pull to go a certain way, or this deep feeling, this deep knowing of something you're here to create and build, but your ego and your subconscious beliefs and your programs and your desire to fit in and be validated and make sure everyone else is okay and that they like you, if that's all pulling you this way, then slowly but surely you're separating from what you're really here to do. And that's kind of the place I found myself in. And it was when I did one of my favorite hypnosis activations, and it is linked down below because it's a free resource for those of you who want to try this out. And it's the most beautiful process where you start connecting out over the planet and seeing the ripple effect and feeling the impact of you being you. Because it's not about you doing more. It's not about you having a certain accolade or achievement or credential, right? It's not about the 3D matrix things that we've been conditioned to think actually matter when they don't. It's not about the amount of money or followers or any of those 3D things. It's about when you connect to your energetic blueprint and your soul's blueprint and you see, this is who I'm here to be. And this is what I'm here to embody. And now I take the action from that place, which might be, in my instance, my coaching, my courses, like all the different things I'm branching into with writing books and songs and like different things. Or it might be with your own career, working for someone else, starting a charity, inventing something new, right? Whatever that looks like for you. It's like when we're in that beingness and we're embodying that fully, and we get to feel and see the impact, the massive impact that has around the planet, that for me helped spark the why and bring me back home to my heart and out of my mind and out of the conditions. So side tangent was that that activation, that quantum healing hypnosis activation, is linked down below in the description if you want to listen to it. And it was when I had this kind of download and it all came through for me really strongly one day, of seeing this and feeling this and noticing the planetary impact of me being in my alignment, my purpose, my mission, me honoring that and showing up at the fullest, and realizing that that also meant having a full cup and not being burnt out or angry or misaligned, right? It took a lot of physical shifts afterwards to then get to that place. But it was in the activation process and connecting with my higher self that I saw, wow, okay, this is what it's meant to feel like. And I've gotten lost a little bit on my path and now I can redirect. And seeing, as I said, the impact on the planetary scale, but then also the impact across the galaxy and across the universe. And when you really understand the quantum entanglement and the way that everything is energy, everyone is energy, and energy is all connected. That your alignment, and it makes me want to cry, is that your alignment to what you're here for doesn't just change the planet, it is felt across the galaxy. It impacts everything that exists because we're all so connected that way. And so we have been so conditioned on this planet to think that we're just one person and that we don't matter and that we can't make a difference and that we need to just be liked and fit in or follow in line or do what those in control want us to do, right? And that leads to very disempowered people and very disconnected people. And it leads to us living out of our soul's alignment. And every single one of us incarnated for something so unique and so special and so powerful. And I really want, if you take anything from this video, is for you to realize that there is no such thing as a small or a big impact. So even if you're like, oh, my calling is, repairing items or something, and you feel like that's not big enough, if that's your soul's calling, if that's what lights you up and fills your cup, and that's like magic to you and medicine, and it's something you love doing, that's exactly what you're here for, and that's more than enough. So you're not meant to push that aside to go do the thing that your family thinks you should do or that society tells you to do. And it's when we come into alignment with our greater mission that I believe the divine really starts to open up doorways and show how supported we are in it. But we've got to get the mental clutter and subconscious blocks out of the way first. So once I started feeling into this more and really taking the time and space to take a step back from the hustle I had kind of got into, and then because everything felt so misaligned, then I was like, I need to do more to get ahead or create safety. And then now I'm doing more for misalignment and fear, which just dug holes deeper and deeper. When I took a step back from that, then I was able to really tune in and then see, oh, okay, this is not where I'm meant to be. This is not how it's meant to look. Parts of it were very much aligned, and parts of it are still part of what I do now with like my Thrive program and some of the courses I had already created. But a lot of the different underlying things were very misaligned for me. And when I started then taking the aligned action from this clarity, that's when I started to feel more and more rested and more like I could settle back into my soul's blueprint and go, okay, this is how I get to show up and serve. This is how I get to fill my cup of purpose and passion and impact and do it in a way that now I'm not frustrated and burnt out and bitter, which is where I had been. And I'm not stressed and hustling, which is where I had been, right? So I invite you to also take notice of, in your current pathway and the mission that you're feeling called to take part in, are you making it more difficult than it is meant to be? Because we tend to also have an addiction and a belief that things have to be hard, an addiction to the suffering or the pain or the proving that we're worthy of it through years of extended effort and hard work and sacrifice. And when you are truly in alignment to what you're here for, it's going to feel easy. It's going to feel flowy. It's going to feel natural. That's a proof of your alignment. As I started doing this, and the more I listened to this activation and the other activations I have inside my mission bundle, which is one of my quantum healing hypnosis courses, specifically about your purpose and mission and activating you to rise up, get into that alignment and step fully into your power in what you're here to create, what you're here to build, the expansion that you're meant for, the impact that you're meant for. As I continued doing that work for myself, then I started to see it ripple out in terms of getting everything back into alignment and realizing, wow, this is actually how easy it gets to be. This is how fun it gets to feel each day. And of course, if I'm in alignment to my calling and what I feel passionate about, my days are going to be so exciting and I get to do things and it doesn't feel like work. But it's almost like my subconscious beliefs from childhood and from the hustle culture we see in society were keeping me thinking like, I've got to make this into work. I've got to prove that I'm working hard. I've got to show that I've sacrificed things and that I've been like overworking and putting in all these hours first. And it's that exact mentality that kept me misaligned and jumping into more things and digging holes deeper and making it worse. So as you do the work to continue deconditioning and releasing those subconscious beliefs and clearing out your energy field of all the clutter and all the things that you've possibly picked up in this lifetime and past lifetimes and across the entire time-space reality, like as you start to clear that out, you'll feel yourself settling more and more, and you'll feel yourself coming more into that divine alignment, divine truth of like, oh, this is how good it gets to be. This is how it gets to work for me now. So, as I said, to wrap this up, this is something I teach inside Mission. There's a link down below to learn more about that course and all the powerful trainings and hypnosis activations that are in there, the energy healing work that's going to help you shift massively and stay on track with what it is you're truly here for and really strengthen that connection to your higher self and to the divine creator so that you can be aligned and live what you're here for and love what you're doing every day. The link for that is down below, and there's also the free mission activation to experience and get that feeling of floating above the earth, seeing the impact that you have just by being you, feeling the interconnectedness of yourself and all the other souls and across the galaxy, and just really allowing you to feel how important you are. Not in a crazy ego way, but just like how important and how special you are so that you can embrace that and embody that every day, and it will change your life. So the link for that is down below. Thank you for listening. I hope at the very least this encourages you to realize that if something still feels off or it's struggle, sacrifice, whatever, let that be guidance to realign. Realize that just because it has been a certain way doesn't mean that's how it's meant to be. I am sad at times that it took me 6 years to realign things to where they are now, but I know I needed to learn all the things that I did, and it helped benefit myself and so many others with the guidance I now have. But had I known 3 years ago, I could have shifted things 3 years ago to make it more easy to stay on that path, right? So I hope that is the biggest takeaway for you right now, that if something isn't feeling 100%, don't just settle there. Like, be aware and look at, well, what would make it feel even better? What would make this feel more aligned, more perfect, more restful and easeful? Because that's going to continue guiding you, and you deserve that feeling, and it's so beautiful when you get there. So thank you for watching. I'm sending you so much love, and I will be back again soon.